Hello everybody, Revenov here again with another video for you. Okay, this one's a little bit overdue. And I did kind of get lazy with editing videos, I guess because I wanted to focus more on my artwork than anything. I had a goal for 2021 and I was hoping to make at least one piece each month before the end of the year as a small achievable goal for myself, as opposed to trying to achieve something way above my head that would probably in the long run take years to achieve. So I did put off making YouTube videos for that reason. But let's talk about the piece real quick. This is Cammy, one of the OCs for a member of the art community that I'm a part of. It was for his birthday and he wanted a piece done for her. And there were several artists that partook in this opportunity, and this is my rendition. And I thought a lot about using this as a chance to practice my color grading. But yeah, I ran out of time in the end, so I didn't end up doing that. Regardless though, I ended up learning a lot about shading by doing this, thanks to some handy references as you may already know. So I learned a lot about bounce light and shadows just by doing this. Still need to work on hair though. Hair has always been one of the bigger challenges to me rather than hands or feet, because there aren't a lot of solid surfaces in hair as compared to, actual body parts like the fingers and the feet. And so when it came to trying to find out a reference for Cammy's hair particularly, I kind of improvised on that part. Nevertheless, I think I'm getting somewhere with this, and I like the idea of drawing like a mecha angel sort of thing. A lot of fun that I had with the piece was actually learning to shade the feathers. I always wondered about how to get a texture so fluffy and so light. And after looking at, 10 other references, I kind of realized that I'm supposed to use a soft brush for this. And I had a lot of fun as well with the heart-shaped parts of the wings. I imagined some sort of a metal surface since it looked pretty mecha in the original source material. And so I just tried to sculpt out and picture in my brain how something would look at a certain angle in a 3D perspective. Looking back on this now, I think I know where I could have made better improvements. But for touching up on something like this that I haven't done in years, or even on digital for that matter, I'd say it turned out pretty good. I'll say the actual challenge here was the horn, surprisingly enough, and maybe a bit of the hair. And I think part of that was because I was trying to imagine drawing a horn from the bottom spiraling to the top without actually using any straight lines, which was kind of dumb because you're allowed to do that, and I should have felt like I was allowed to do that. But I did eventually. I guess I wanted to add more like frills and stuff, but I think I was running out of time too, so I decided not to. But I think in the future I might practice more of the color mapping like I was supposed to, and my little brother is actually practicing a little bit of that. He also got into art as well, so I'm really happy about that. That's something that we both kind of bond over now these days. He actually became a lot more proactive in learning gradient mapping from Mark Brene when I first introduced him to the guy, and now he's exploring all sorts of things, and so I'm happy for him about that. And sometimes it is better to learn from somebody, I feel, than a bunch of books. Part of the learning experience I think we all grow up with is finding someone who can validate a lot of your questions or just a lot of the instructions that they give you. Just because there are so many people out there giving advice, sharing tips, giving instruction, doesn't necessarily mean that all of that advice is actually right. And there is just a massive amount of misinformation going around all over the place. So it helps to learn from one person at a time. As shitty as this sounds, it's better to learn from a credible source, because the source is credible for a reason. It's been verified and known to have worked. Although yes, a lot of us learn all sorts of ways, and no one way is the right way. But there are ways that can teach you to be a more effective learner and to save time from learning the long way. So I do believe not necessarily mimicking other good artists, especially because when an artist does show you things, on a time lapse especially, they're not showing you a lot of their mistakes. So you can imagine how other smaller artists following their bigger favorite artists end up going in one big circle trying to find out how exactly they achieved doing this one thing. Like a writer, no writer writes out their first, second, third draft and then gets it published right away. There are editors and people to reread it and change it, and before you know it, the work is so much more further than what it originally was. But that's because you have a plethora of people looking into the mistakes or making improvements or giving you suggestions about what to do. And in likeness of art, you may not have several people pointing out, your piece, telling you what to change about it, but you can at least find the best way and the fastest way to learn with the right people to reference from. In any case, I'll have to revisit old techniques that I want to rework on again. Probably you won't see it within the next 2 videos because those 2 pieces after this one were actually done months after. So you probably won't start seeing the changes or me relearning a lot of the stuff until much later down the line. But for now, I hope you like this piece regardless. Thank you all for watching. Revenov.